Imagine a world where all the big rules of science seem to be known. Then picture a simple rock that holds a secret. It glows in the dark with its own mysterious light, a light that no one could explain. This wasn't magic. It was a new kind of power hiding in plain sight, a power that would change everything we thought we knew about the world. In the late 1800s, most scientists felt pretty smart. They thought they had the universe mostly figured out. The atom was the smallest thing there was, like a tiny, unbreakable ball. Energy was one thing, and matter was another. They were totally separate. These were the rules of science, and everybody believed they would last forever. But then, a scientist named Becquerel found a strange clue. He saw that a type of rock containing uranium could fog up a photographic plate, even when it was wrapped in black paper. It was a weird little puzzle that most people just ignored. But not Marie Curie. She looked at this small mystery and asked a huge question. Where was this invisible energy coming from? What was its secret? This question started her amazing journey. Using a special tool her husband Pierre helped design, she began to measure the strange rays from uranium. Then she tested a dark, heavy ore called pitchblende, and she found something impossible. The pitchblende was 4 times more powerful than the pure uranium inside it. How could that be? It meant there had to be something else in that rock, something new and incredibly powerful. To find this invisible new thing, Marie and Pierre needed a place to work. They weren't given a fancy laboratory. They were given an old, abandoned shed. It had a dirt floor and a leaky glass roof. In the summer, it was boiling hot, and in the winter, it was freezing cold. This was the place where they would change the world. Inside this shed, they began a dangerous and difficult task. They had to find a tiny bit of a new substance hidden inside tons of rock. It was like looking for one special grain of sand on a giant beach. For 4 long years, Marie Curie's work was not like other scientists. It was hard, physical labor. She worked more like a factory worker in her drafty shed. Every day, she stood over huge, bubbling vats of chemicals. She used an iron rod as tall as herself to stir the boiling mix. This was a dangerous and exhausting journey, but she was determined to find the invisible thing hiding in the rocks. After all that grueling work, they found something. They carefully separated a new element from the rock. This new material was hundreds of times more energetic than uranium. It was a huge breakthrough. Marie named it polonium. She named it after her home country, Poland, which was not free at the time. This discovery was an amazing achievement, but she knew her work was not done. The hunt was now on for a second, even more powerful element. This was the source of the strongest energy they had seen. The work became even more difficult and precise. They had to process tons and tons of ore. After all that work, they were left with just a tiny bit of material. It was so small you could barely see it. But this tiny speck was amazing. It glowed in the dark with a beautiful, soft blue light. This was the ultimate prize they had been searching for. They called it radium. And that soft blue glow. It was more than just a pretty light. It was a sign that a secret of the universe was being shown. The old rules of science were about to break. Before Marie Curie, everyone believed atoms were tiny, solid balls. They thought atoms could never, ever change. But by proving that energy could pour out of an atom, she shattered that old idea forever. Atoms were not solid and forever. They could fall apart. They could change. This was a huge new truth that opened up a whole new world of science. Marie Curie's genius wasn't a single quick flash of a brilliant idea. It was her amazing persistence. She kept working day after day for years. She had the special ability to believe in a tiny signal that didn't fit the old rules. Everyone else might have missed it or called it a mistake. But she pursued that small mystery with a focus that changed the world. This new power from the atom was a huge gift to the world. But for Marie Curie, it also came with a big question. What do you do when you find a secret of the universe? Do you keep it for yourself, or do you share it with everyone? Marie and Pierre could have become very, very rich. They had discovered how to get radium from the rocks. They could have kept that secret. This would have meant only they could sell it. But they made a different choice. They refused to keep the idea for themselves. They believed that science was not about making money. They felt their discovery belonged to the whole world. So they shared everything. They told other scientists exactly how to find radium. This helped science grow much faster. But it also meant Marie and Pierre continued to work without much money, choosing knowledge over wealth. Her story is about more than just finding new things. It shows what one person's mind can do when it is truly curious. She journeyed into a world no one could see, and she brought back a discovery that changed what we thought was real. This journey teaches us something amazing. The biggest new ideas often come from a simple need to understand. It wasn't about being famous or rich. It was about asking why, and never, ever giving up on finding the answer. The name Curie became a symbol for great science. Her daughter, Irene, also became a famous scientist and won a Nobel Prize. The family's curiosity was like a bright light passed from one to another. But this bright light also had a shadow. The powerful energy Marie worked with every day was slowly making her sick. The discovery she gave to the world was taking a silent toll on her own body. Her work opened a door to a new kind of science. It led to treatments for sickness and new ways to understand the tiny atoms that make up everything. That little shed was the start of a whole new age. Think about this. Marie Curie's life shows that curiosity is like a compass. Even when you are in the dark and cannot see the way forward, your questions can guide you to a world-changing discovery.